Hello, security pros. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on today's ESX webinar, BAT-Fire Universal 5G Ready Fire Communicator. For system integrators who want a versatile fire alarm panel communicator, the Universal BAT-Fire is equipped with dual tip and ring dial capture, 4 programmable inputs/outputs, and dual path IP and LTE-M cellular technology. My name is Riley Hogendorn, and I'm excited to lead this ESX webinar today. But before we dive in, I'd like to provide some tips for those of you joining us on your first ESX webinar. Welcome. You will be muted for the duration of this session, but that does not mean we don't want to hear from you. If a question or comment comes to mind at any point during today's session, click on the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen, and I'll ensure we save some time for your questions with our experts. We'll also be recording today's webinar, so you can rewatch the on-demand session and share it with your colleagues. Make sure to mark your calendars for ESX 2022, the Electronic Security Expo. We'll hold this in-person event designed by and for the Pro-installed Electronic Security and Life Safety Channel on June 14 through 17 in Fort Worth, Texas. We at ESA realize your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending some of that time with us today. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speakers. Warren Hill has over 15 years in the security industry with experience, marketing, product, and program management. He started his career in the industry as a global product manager at GE Security, managing Simon, Allegro, CareGuard, and wireless sensors. Dave Main is a leader in the wireless device networking market for over 2 decades. He held leadership positions in engineering management, product management, business development, and has the general manager of the Interactive Services division on security. Okay, Warren, let's dive in.
All right. Thanks, Riley. It's great to be with you, and I'm excited to hear that ESX is full steam ahead in Fort Worth in June. Look forward to seeing you and the listeners that we've got today there. Thanks for joining us as we introduce the newest addition to our communicator lineup, BAT-Fire. We're excited to have you here and hope that you walk away with a better understanding of this great new product and how it can be used to help and benefit your business. As Riley mentioned, my name is Warren. I'm the marketing leader at Alula, and I'm joined by Dave Main, Alula's Chief Revenue Officer, and all-around great guy. Dave, it's great to be with you again.
Great to be here. I'm looking forward to the conversation and the follow-on feedback from our partners and industry experts here.
Fantastic. A quick intro to Alula for anyone that might be a first-time listener or first time with attending a webinar on Alula. We were formed in 2017, Resolution Products, a leader in wireless device communications, and IP Datatel, a leader in IP alarm system communications, came together and formed Alula. Our headquarters are in St. Paul, Minnesota. Our products and services are used by thousands of professional alarm dealers in the US, in Canada, and actually even in Australia. We offer the total solution from the hardware that's installed on the wall to the communicators that relay alarm signals to central stations, and from the sensors that monitor 24/7 activity to the mobile app that end users interact with every day to arm and disarm their system, to view cameras, receive activity notifications. We are an end-to-end solutions provider. Here's a look at our product and services ecosystem. Dave, feel free to bounce in if you'd like to add anything here, but first off, our portfolio spans a wide range of products and services. The images displayed here show some of the products that are in our portfolio. We have a mobile app that proves to be the most common way for end users to interact with and control their system. And we have a dealer portal where alarm dealers manage most aspects of their account base. We have our own wireless security and automation system, Connect Plus, as well as a universal communicator that works on just about every hardwired hybrid panel on the market, which is BAT Connect. We have 2 translators, a wired to wireless version and a wireless to wireless version. and a lineup of wireless sensors that work with all of our panel, with our panel as well as panels made by other manufacturers. And we have a line of cameras, including an interactive doorbell camera. With our robust heritage in IP communications, our products lead with IP and are complemented by LTE M1 cellular technology.
Just real quickly, if I could, Warren, as you went through that last slide, what you demonstrate there is that we have full coverage for all business that you are involved in. And as you add the product we're going to be talking about today, BAT-Fire, which would fit down at the bottom of the screen, now we're entering into the commercial fire space as well. But whether you have thousands of accounts existing out there, we have products that can help service those accounts with wireless sensors, with translators. We provide interactive services across all of these. So, over the past several years since Alula came into being, we've really built out this portfolio to be the primary turnkey interactive and communications platform that professional dealers can build their business around. And so it's something that I think people lose sight of. We've made some huge strides in this area and can provide that full coverage. So I just wanted to emphasize that.
Yeah, thanks for adding that, Dave. We've been developing award-winning alarm panel communicators for years, dating all the way back to 2009 with the original broadband alarm transceiver, or BAT. Dave, with all the alarm panel communicators we've developed through the years, why do you think it's taken us so long to decide to build a commercial fire alarm communicator?
Well, Warren, as you know, it's a special market that you get into. You have to have special expertise around it, and you have to have a lot of support materials, both materials and people, in order to be successful to support the AHJs and to support the integrators that are into this space. We've taken the knowledge we've learned over the decades and folded this into the fire communicator. And I think when we entered the market, our goal was to revolutionize the way you communicate to panels. Let's leverage IP, let's leverage cellular, and let's create an opportunity where you can minimize the number of SKUs you need to solve any problem. We want to have universal support of all of our products, and we want to have multiple ways to connect up to those buildings, those premises. And we've taken that expertise and put it into BAT-Fire, and now we've gotten the scale and the depth of our organization to really build all of the support tools you need to really be successful as you're out an integrator in the commercial fire space. But we're building that on 10 years of proven technology, of scalable technology, of reliable platform support. And we wanted to make sure all those pieces were in place before we entered that commercial fire space.
That's good. That makes sense. And, as we look at the history, the different BAT communicators that we've had and that we've launched, starting with just IP, then adding cellular, a lot of those communicators probably started out in the residential space, are used in small business. I think it only makes sense for logical next step for us is to move over into the commercial, fire alarm reporting space. So
yeah, as you know, Warren, roughly 20% of our communicators now are in the commercial SMB space, and that's growing. And we have nearly 500,000 devices underneath our platform. So it is proven, it is established. And those are some of the foundations that you really want to have before you're going to, really expand into this new market.
Great. Some of the feedback that we commonly receive from our dealer partners is shown here. They'd like to get jobs done faster. It can be tricky to keep up with changing regulations. Trying to figure out the right communicator to use for each job can be challenging, especially when there's lots of them from a certain manufacturer to choose from. They're always looking for ways to make more RMR. We hear that all the time. They want a single communicator that can be used on every job to help reduce the number of SKUs they have to purchase. The list goes on. Dave, we launched BAT-Fire a little over a month ago. You talk to alarm dealers almost every day. I'm wondering if you've had any conversations with dealers that have tested or started using BAT-Fire. And did they provide any feedback that ties back to some of the items that are listed here on this slide?
Well, we're a company that likes to truly listen to our customers and understand what the pain points are. You identified several of them here. And the feedback I've been getting is, number one, it's easy to install and configure. As you get into the platform we use to bring new devices on, we call it Alula Connect. We've created a workflow that makes it quick and efficient and repeatable in order to get these systems up and running and provide flexibility to select the supervision that is required for that installation. We're in the year of a sunset right now, and many of our integrators are out there dealing with devices that are going to go dark in the next month or in the next 13 months. And we are providing the tools that allow you to install a device that uses less current than typically the device that's already installed, and can be configured to match the supervision and performance characteristics of the product that was there before. People really like that. And having a single SKU simplifies the process for the entire organization. We're going to talk more about that in a second, but that's one of the biggest differentiators we have in the market in the BAT Fire, and something we carry with all of our products is we have to recognize what it truly means to run a business and what can we do to help you be more efficient in doing that. And I think those are the pieces of feedback that we're getting. And I think the other key is we're continuing to listen. The product management team is part of my organization. We launched this a month ago. They sit right outside my door here. They're sitting right next to our technical support line and our training group. And we're continuing to keep that feedback and refine and improve workflows and even work that into our next generation products. So we listen up front, and we like to continue listening. So when you try it, please give the feedback to us, because we will respond.
Listening and refining key points to launching a new product. So it's good to hear. We'll get more into the features and some of the specifics of the product here. Dave, why don't you take us through some of the features of BAT Fire items that are listed on this slide, kind of expound on these things.
Yeah, I don't know if the bullets will be on the slide. I'll just speak to it the way I like to. I mentioned it's a single SKU. Some companies will provide one product that has cellular only, a different one will have Ethernet. This product has Ethernet and cellular on it. You can configure it in our platform for sole path or dual path communications. And we will either turn, you not use the Ethernet, we can even turn the cellular off and have it be Ethernet only. All of that can be done through our back-end platform. This device is set up where it can automatically detect 12 or 24 volt panels. We will be powered off the FACP, and if it's a 12 volt panel, we will work just fine. So we can operate off of either one of those. And we've even specified some power supplies, external power supplies, where we can be powered off of those as well. Ultronics makes several units. We do not take a great deal of current compared to all other cellular communicators on the market. So if you're doing a replacement, or if you're putting us onto a fire panel, we're going to take at least, typically half or more than or less than half of the current of other communicators in the market. Much of that is built around the cellular technology that we use, which is listed Cat M1. It is on the LTE band, but it carries into low bandwidth communications into the 5G world. So we have a sunset proof product. We can be used for the sunset today, and we will carry not only through the LTE world, but into the 5G world for communications. And again, every unit has Ethernet on it as well. From a configuration standpoint, we have 4 programmable inputs and outputs. Those can be configured on our back-end platform with a lot of flexibility. This allows us not only to provide communications to FACPs that might not have a dialer on it, but we can also monitor other ancillary systems that would be part of a fire installation, whether that be water flow valves, or even HVAC controls. And we have a lot of documentation on different ways that you can use and configure the I/O. And we've been certified for UL 864, but we've also been certified for Canadian versions of commercial fire, which have even tighter supervision rates and commercial intrusion. So this product could be used on a combination panel. again, trying to provide a single SKU that could be used in absolutely any installation. Those are a few of the highlights, and again, many more as we start to walk through training with you.
So here's a look at some of the product specs for BAT-Fire. For all the specifications, please visit alula.com/BAT-Fire, BAT-Fire. A few things to note here. Dave talked about many of these, talked about the 12 volt and 24 volt, that it auto detects and auto adjusts to that. The communicator currently is in a plastic enclosure. We've found that to be compliant with most AHJs around the country, but there may be some out there that require a metal can. Dave, do we have plans of releasing BAT-Fire with a metal housing?
Yeah, Warren, that's on the roadmap. We intend to come out with that version. As we do so, you're going to find with this plastic housing, first off, that's another piece of feedback that just jumped into my head. Very ample wiring areas with cable tie downs and a lot of conduit access points. So we try to think through the whole installation process. And as we do a metal can, it will have room to accommodate a 7 amp hour battery. And we'll also look to add a power supply into that variant as well. We aren't close to having that out, close meaning, in the next month or two, but in this year, we will have that product out and kind of add that into the mix as well.
Okay, great. When it comes to communicating with central stations, BAT-Fire is compatible with 3 different models of Bosch Kinetics receivers. That's an important item that dealers need to be aware of. Check with your central station providers to make sure they're equipped to support BAT-Fire. Lastly, today the BAT-Fire Verizon model is available. We're working to have the AT&T model out next month. For dealers in Canada, the AT&T model is the one that you've been waiting for, so next month. Dave, you're biased, of course, but try to be objective here for a moment. Why should alarm system integrators be installing BAT-Fire in a nutshell? What's the main reason?
I'm going to say we are a trusted provider to thousands of dealers. We're proven in the marketplace with nearly 500,000 devices underneath our network. It's reliable, it's robust. We're based here in the US. We can provide a reliable platform that you can build around. And I think the second thing is we come out of this industry. The engineers that work here have developed panels, residential panels, commercial panels, wireless panels. We're known in the industry for innovation, and we've carried those same characteristics into this space. We're not coming from a different communication world and trying to build a fire communicator. We're coming from a position of experience, and that experience is down on the other end of the hall here. And I know that we stand behind our products. We have the best warranty in the industry, and we have, I believe, the most responsive people. When you call in, you're going to get to a person. You're going to get our contact information at the end of this. We're here to listen and learn and share our expertise with you.
Great. That's more than one reason. I appreciate it, Dave. Okay. BAT-Fire, what is it priced at? It has a suggested dealer price of $174.50. We cannot dictate the final price that's charged by our distribution partners, but we do provide an MSDP to help them understand where we believe it should be priced for alarm dealers. Pricing on alarm communication services, it varies depending on the communication path and the polling or the supervision rate that's needed in a specific installation for that application. Dave, what causes the variation in service pricing? I see a lot of different price points on here.
And I mean, you kind of mentioned it. It really comes down to the supervision level, and the supervision level that we're doing drives more data usage. It is, we are providing an important note on BAT-Fire. It communicates directly to the previously mentioned Bosch receivers. We have a path to our platform where you can monitor and see all signal traffic, but if there's an alarm event, and all supervision events are not only going to our platform, but they're going directly to those Bosch receivers. As you increase supervision, that increases the data rates and data usage that's going over cellular, and ultimately increases costs. But we do provide dual path in terms of Ethernet and cellular available on it. And effectively, you're getting a connectivity path to our platform for management and configuration, and a dedicated path right to the central station and the receiver inside the central station for all alarm signals and all supervision events.
So when a dealer installs a communicator and they need to go in and they need to set the communication path, the polling rate, or the supervision rate, is that all done through Alula Connect? Is that where they do that?
It's all done through Alula Connect, and per UL standards, there's somebody on site that is indicating we're doing a configuration change, and then it's managed through Alula Connect. Once that's established, the supervision and communication of alarm signals will go directly to the receiver at the central. But we will always have a path through Alula Connect to manage the device.
Okay, good. We do have some great news for dealers that are interested in BAT-Fire. We offer a $99 service credit on all of our communicators, and that includes BAT-Fire, BAT Connect, Connect XT. That $99 service credit is also available on Connect Plus panels and kits. When you take the $99 credit into consideration, the BAT-Fire has a net price that's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $75. That's very aggressive. Any early feedback from dealers that have seen this promotion, Dave?
They love it, especially in the year of a sunset. You know, nobody wants to have to go, spend time rolling a truck just to handle the fact that the cellular providers are changing technology. But if your service provider and your product provider can help you out, it's nothing but positive feedback. So I think it's been well received. And with the different service pricing that you indicated on the previous page, we calculated if you had one of the higher rates, you earn your money back at a faster rate. It basically deducts up to that $99 price point based on the service plan you have. One other comment I wanted to make: on the previous slide, you showed two SKUs. You showed the BAT-Fire Verizon and the BAT-Fire AT&T. We will have both. Currently, we're shipping the Verizon unit. The AT&T, we're probably, 6 weeks. We're waiting for some paperwork to go through for carrier certification on that. Once that's out, that will work up in Canada, and we already meet UL Canadian specs. So look for that in about, probably 4 to 6 weeks when the paperwork is through. Sorry about that. I just wanted to highlight that.
Well, it's good because I actually highlighted it on this slide. I commented that we had the Verizon model out and AT&T's coming. So apparently you're not listening to me.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It doesn't hurt to reiterate important things. And I know we've got a lot of dealers up in Canada, and they've been asking for the AT&T model. So I'm glad to hear we're going to have it out next month. Okay, a question typically pops in my mind when I see a great deal like this $99 service credit, and especially when there's a little asterisk after the price. And, I always think, what's the catch? So I thought we would share the fine print right here. We're not trying to hide anything. All dealers are able to join in on this promotion. Dealers they need to sign up for the promotion. That's done at alula.com/service-credit, alula.com/service credit. The $99 credit is applied when a device is activated on the Alula network. You must select the $99 service credit when you enroll the device. There's a drop down, and you'll just enroll it that way. The service credit is available to all dealers that are paying MSDP, silver, or gold pricing. It is not available on devices that are purchased under a special pricing agreement. The credit will not exceed $99 or 18 months, whichever comes first. And there is an early termination fee of $25 for the devices that are taken out of service prior to 24 or 36 months. In the case of BAT-Fire, it's 24 months. Dave, anything else that you want to add before we move into questions?
I think that hits every bullet. That's the fine print, and it's not that fine. You did it in a nice big font.
Yeah, well, we're not trying to hide anything. So we encourage you to enter questions. If you've got questions, please put those in the comment field, and we'll get to those here in just a moment. But You know, we've started documenting some commonly asked questions and thought that we would just go through those to start with. We'll get to your questions in just a moment. Dave, why don't you take us through each of these questions and the answers? And, you know, if you want to expound on any of the answers that we've provided here.
Yeah, so, you know, where to buy, we work with all the major distributors out there. They carry our products and they've been loading up on the BAT Fire. If your distributor doesn't have it, talk to the people behind the counter, and they are ready and able to place orders, and we'll be here to help out and make sure that we get those on the shelves, but they should be out there in good numbers already. We talked about the Bosch receivers. It's probably the biggest point of feedback we get. This is unique in terms of how we communicate to the central station with BAT Fire compared to some of our other communicators. So this step is a little different. If you've been working with Alula in the past, if you've put other BAT products on, this is a point of differentiation. The good news is most central stations have the receivers. If they don't have them, they're widely available in distribution, or they can work directly with us and we can make them available. And then the final point, you know, which FACPs do we work with? Basically any of them. We support contact ID. So if it doesn't have contact ID or doesn't have a dialer, we would use our inputs to capture the alarm events. But we are truly a universal communicator from that aspect. And again, with that product, it can be sole or dual path, and that can be configured at the time of installation.
Great. A few more questions on here.
Yeah, we talked a bit about using Alula Connect to communicate and manage that device. You can do that at the initial configuration, and you can make continual changes to that. Again, per UL, somebody is on site to put the device into configuration change mode or firmware updates. But as long as you've gone through that process, we can make those changes. In the case of a fire communicator, most of our products go through automated firmware updates. They check in daily or they can be updated. In the case of fire, we can only upgrade to UL approved firmware revisions, but as we come out with any enhancements, our products will support those and be upgradable. We do have power supplies that we have identified. I think we had our current specs that were identified on an earlier slide. We're normally powered right off of the FACP. And as I mentioned before, if you are going through the process of doing a sunset upgrade, if there's a communicator powered off the FACP, we're going to take less current than that. So we will fit into the battery calcs. But if you need a secondary power supply, the Ultronics A3300, they have a AL400 as well. Will both work with that. And there's others in the market that are UL listed. And the AT&T model is coming shortly. It's just a paperwork processing effort. We're already prepared to build them. We have already gone through UL certs. So once that's done, you can order away and we'll be ready to ship it. And then, you know, as we mentioned before, we will be working on a metal can variant. We've got some prototypes we could share pictures of. We'll keep you posted as we get closer to that, but, you know, kind of look for that in the second half of the year.
Real good. That's great. Thanks for answering those questions, and thanks for joining me today. As always, it's a pleasure to do these webinars with you. For our attendees, if there are things that piqued your interest during this session, we'd love to speak with you. Mine and Dave's email addresses will be shown on the next slide. If you have questions come up for yourself around the office as you're talking to people about this product, please feel free to contact either one of us. We'll now take a few minutes to address questions from our audience. And Riley, do you have those? I actually don't see the notes that are coming in.
Yeah, so to the audience, if you have any more questions, this is the time to click the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, type in the question or comment. We do have one comment from Chris Lanier. He says, not a question, just expressing our satisfaction with the prior products. Congrats on blending the two companies well.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for sharing that feedback.
And bringing two companies together is never easy, but I have to say that the cultures of the two organizations down at Houston, in Houston and up here in Minneapolis, were very well aligned and complementary. And I tell you, I still enjoy it. Several other people moved from Houston up to here, and I think right now it's about 5 below in the Minneapolis area. I'm sure they're not too pleased with their decision, but they've really helped really tighten the integration as well.
Great. Well, it doesn't look like we have any more questions from our audience. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Warren, for this great presentation. Can you just put up your slide with some contact information, just in case our audience?
Yeah, you bet. Riley, thanks to ESA for hosting us here. We appreciate everything that you do to help make the alarm security industry great. We appreciate everything, all the support that that you guys give us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll see everyone next time. Goodbye.
All right.